travelers, and welcome to Diverse Stars podcast. All my loyal listeners, thank you for your continued support. And remember, click the subscribe button, everybody. It's an amazing episode because Maggie's service boards the mothership. You know her from Good Omens on Amazon Prime. Come on board as we go traversing the stars. Hello, Miss Service. Thank you so much for coming to Diverse Stars podcast.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
It's totally my pleasure. I'm a big fan of yours. So I always thought a question of inspiration. So what inspired your love of acting and who were your earliest influences?
Yeah, well, I know the exact moment in time when I realized it was a thing one could pursue. So I was literally 5 years old and I saw my middle brother in a school production of Guys and Dolls. And it was in my school's sports hall, which had been magically turned into a theatre. I mean, there were chairs, and I just loved it. And I remember my mum in the interval leaning down and asking if I was enjoying it, and I said, "Oh yeah, love it." And I really like the funny lady who had the song about having a cold, obviously Adelaide, and my mum said, "Oh, that was my part." And I was just confused. And then she said, her daddy goes to the office in the morning. That's his job. Well, that was my job. And I literally just remember going, well, I'm doing that then. And that was it.
That's awesome. So the important question, are you a better actor than your brother?
Well, now he's in the music business. So for him, it was just a hobby, but I wouldn't like to. I think I definitely love it more than he does. That's fair.
That's awesome. So your mother was also an actor. So was she able to tell you about the business and acting?
Yeah, she really with love tried to put me off it. Was also really supportive, but definitely was just telling me about the hardships. And actually it was my 18th birthday. I remember loads of her friends were I felt really like everyone sort of took me aside and I was waiting for a lovely happy birthday, moment. And they were all going like, listen, look, darling, do you really have to do this? And one of them by the end of the party sort of, I'd clearly made my case well enough and took me over to my mother and said, you've got no hope. She's going to do it. So you're just going to have to get on board. Like we've all had a go, but she's got answers for everything. She's 100% going to do it. And at that point, I think Mum was just like, right, okay, all right. I can't warn you anymore. You're just going to have to experience it. But yeah, I didn't know her as an actor, if you see what I mean. I knew her as my mum. She'd really, she did the role of mumming really well for me and my two older brothers, and then got back to it when I was about 12 or 13 actually. So it was but it was just amazing to have had somebody explain that can be an actual job, because when you're a kid you think jobs are all a bit boring, aren't they? They look quite boring on telly. And even though it's really hard work, it's a vocation, so we get to love what we do, which is just a magical way to spend days.
So did you get to have the I told you so moment when you're like, see, it's successful, thank you?
Yeah, it's a funny thing. I just always kind of said, but someone's got to do it. Like someone's got to get the part. So I don't see why it might be me. Like and I think, again, my brother and I, my oldest brother, we definitely had arguments when just about, he was like, you've just got to get something to fall back on. I was like, yeah, but if I have something to fall back on, I'll fall backwards. And I just so I don't know, there was something really just intrinsically within me. But again, picking student subjects when you're a student, all of that, there was never I didn't realize how lucky I was, and that there was never any pressure on have I picked the right subjects, because I always knew what I wanted to do. So yeah.
So you studied at the National Youth Theater and the Webber Douglas School of Dramatic Art.
Yeah.
So what did the experience teach you about the craft?
Yeah, so National Youth Theatre is you audition to do a course, and then once you've done the course, you're then eligible to audition to be in a production. So even that just teaches you discipline, and that you really have to want to be there, and certainly the course, I remember, again, there was this brilliant moment where my course tutor, we all had to, we were having to get up in groups and be the elements, be earth, wind, fire, water. And we were a bit rubbish. And she sort of stopped us halfway through and said, I can see all of you thinking about, oh, I fancy that person over there, or I look a bit silly, or I'm not really, she said, I can see you're self-conscious, and I don't want to. And if you're serious about being an actor, basically you're signing up to being embarrassed the entirety of your life, like making yourself vulnerable, putting yourself on the spot. So do it again and do it better. And we did. And it was a really good lesson of going, oh yeah, okay, there can't be any kind of judging yourself. You've just got to get on with it. And then I did the productions of I did Nicholas Nickleby, the David Edgar version of the Dickens book, 6 hours long, 2 parts, 42 actors. Well, I say actors, teenagers, wannabe actors. But it was brilliant. And I think we all learnt by osmosis how to be a company member. And that is invaluable to me. I think, drama school was much more about, it was more prescriptive in that you had to, even though the teachers were saying, this is like a pick and mix, and when you leave, you can just take the stuff that works for you. Nevertheless, when you're in the lesson, you have to do what they're doing, otherwise you're doing it wrong, So it was more about the discipline of, I guess, breath and, the kind of logistics of things. And I think what I got from National Youth Theatre was much more just the sort of freedom and the joy, and that this is all, it's all kind of possible. Quite a lot of us, we're all still in touch actually, but quite a lot of us are still, still doing the acting as well, in a way that National Youth Theatre really is it's just a great taste of what it might be like to be a proper grown up actor.
Well, I know as a teacher, I know that the difference between experience and doing in the classroom and what you're taught in the classroom are extremely different things. As an actor, how does doing it differ from being taught it?
Good question. There's things by being employed you are going to learn that you can never learn in any room. There just are. There'll just be circumstances or moments or thoughts or just a piece of complete laser beam magic that's just happened between 2 actors, and I'm not really answering the question apart from it's definitely, it's great though to have as much of a skill set and as much of a discipline as possible, so that when it is just you and people are paying you to do it, you've got to be sparky and open and available to adapt. So you've got to learn all the stuff and then forget all the stuff in the that's the key, I think.
Well, I mean, obviously you proved extremely successful. You're playing Sister Teresa. You played Sister Teresa in the first season of Good Omens. So how do you get involved in the project?
So about 18 months before season 1 started, Neil Gaiman had written all 6 episodes and just wanted some actors to come in and read it for him and the producers, just to sort of see. So I was cast as one of, I think it was 12 of us, and it was over 2 days, and we all read all the parts and sat in a table, and all the important people sat behind us and around us, and Neil was at the head of the table here, and I remember I was sort of filming 3 other things at the time, and I had a few days to read it, if that. So I was reading it on trains, I was reading it, taking it to the bathroom, I was just taking it everywhere with me, going, I've got to read all these scripts because there's so much to do. So I can't remember, I must tally up how many parts I played, but I played demons and nuns and Madame Tracy and all sorts, and just had a completely wonderful time. Being helpful basically is what the gig was, being helpful for people to hear all 6 episodes read out so that they could work out what they needed to do structurally. But at the end of that, I think I might have done an all right job, because then they wanted me to come in and audition for the actual thing, which I was thrilled about, because I just, sometimes you just read things and you just feel like you get it, you just get it. And it can't really be explained other than that. So I came in and auditioned. Actually, it was for a couple of the nuns, but I wanted Sister Teresa. and managed to get that. And then it was my favorite job of all time, because what Neil had done, obviously Terry having passed away, but it being Terry Pratchett, but it was their idea, it was their joint idea. This book had been in existence for 29 years. A couple of versions of it had nearly been made on screen, but not quite. And Terry had asked Neil, they had a pact that they would always do it together, but obviously that was going to be impossible soon. And so Terry had asked Neil to kind of take it and write it himself. So what Neil did was just write. For me, reading it, it was all interwoven with friendship and love, and an ode to a dear friend. Getting quite emotional now, but it's just so beautiful. So I thought, because it's a book, it's only going to be the book. So I just took it for what it was, as that job, and just had the best time ever, and told Neil it was my favorite job ever, and all of that. We get on very well. And we'd stayed in touch a bit, but then I'm going on to season 2 now. Is this allowed? Because
indeed.
Yeah?
That's why you're here, to talk season 2.
Okay, great. Then we're in the middle of the pandemic globally, and there's no money for creative arts, and you can't imagine a time when there's ever going to be an audience together and a crew together, and I get an email, and it's from Neil Gaiman, and so that's always a great day. And it just says, I'm writing season 2, which I didn't think was even possible, quite frankly. And he said, and I'm writing a part for you, and I'm going to call her Maggie. Is that something you'd be interested in? So I cried, and then immediately said, yes, please, that please. What do you mean? What are you talking about? Yes, please. But just the fact that a man with his intelligence and soul could imagine a time where a television show was going to be made again, almost that was enough, because he gave me hope, and that was such a great gift. But then it got even better, and we got to actually make the thing too. So it's a sort of, it's an extraordinary journey I've been on, really. I'm so grateful to be part of the Good Omens world. It's a very nice place to be.
Neil Gaiman, in my opinion, is like an international treasure.
Right.
What is he like to work with?
He's so cool. He's so cool. And actually, I remember in season 1, Nina Shasanya, who's in 2 as well, but was Sister Mary Loquacious, we'd sort of been going, I quite want him to sign my book. Is that really oh, is that a bit, or like maybe on our last day, I don't know, is that? So we did on our last day sort of go, please just say no if this is awful, because we're in a workplace, this is so ridiculous, but could you sign our Good Omens books? And he did, and he said the thing is sort of, celebrity, it isn't in any way cool, but if signing a thing for somebody is cool, then that's cool, isn't it?
That is also that's one of my bucket list things, is Neil Gaiman autograph. That's like one of my bucket list things. That is so cool. He just seems like he would be one of the absolute just coolest people. Like there's certain people who kind of like transcend just regular like stardom, and just is that level. He seems to be one of them.
I mean, I just think he must be a little bit magic, because and I feel like he sort of just lightly tapped me on the head with it for a second or two, and I got to sort of enjoy the magic. And he's so generous, and he's been very sweet, and said very sweetly he thought I brought magic to season 1, and therefore I get to be in season 2. And I think I got a bit like, oh no, I don't really know what I was doing. I just was having such a nice time. I'm going to be on set for ages now. What if I can't? But actually, it's all completely marvelous. He's just he's full of soul and intelligence, and he loves what he does as well. And that means that if you can do what you love every day, how lucky are we all to just be there doing that?
Now, as you mentioned, the thing that's kind of strange is that you're going to be playing 2 different characters in one series. So as a performer, how do you make sure that it's clear to the audience that you're different people, that you're not kind of playing in a similar fashion to each other?
Yeah, well, I've done quite a few plays where I've played multiple roles within a play, so I feel like I'm quite good at that. But honestly, in terms of this, Sister Teresa Garrulous, God bless her heart, the process was the sort of inverted, you know, satanic wimples with the upside down clock and the snakes on, and the facial hair on my eyebrows, moustache, chin, my little tiny goatee, and my wart. So that in itself kind of gives you so much character. And in season 2, I get to wear makeup and have nice hairdos. And yeah, I mean, Maggie is the other Maggie is completely different. So there just wasn't even a there was no, oh gosh, I hope I'm not doing similar things, because one is a satanic nun and one is a just a cute record shop working little sunbeam, and so yeah, I'm now going, oh, hang on, how much can I say? But yeah, she is lovely. I hope that people like her, and I think people liked Sister Teresa Garrulous anyway, even though she wasn't that lovely. So hopefully
So what were you told about Good Omen season 2, Maggie? I feel like saying, like, I need to say the whole thing, so it's not you and some weird thing about you specifically. Their character of Maggie in season 2. What were you told about her?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to come up with something, aren't we? I think I'll call her the other Maggie, and I'll just be Maggie, something like that. But yeah, I didn't know much. I'd obviously, like I say, had received this email and then just said yes, please. And then I was sent the script for the first episode. So from that, without knowing the journey of the character and the adventures and all of the plot, basically, what I could tell was the rhythm of the character. So it was sort of weird, because you normally do all your detective work on your characterizations, but because I sort of knew a kernel of it anyway, was a little bit me, totally not me in loads of other ways, but a little bit me. It was a weird sort of trying to look inward a bit to work out the bits of me that I think Neil wanted, and then find the other Maggie, and then kind of put them both together and come up with a whole new, entirely new person. So it was a different process than I've worked before. But yeah, as I say, just the rhythm he had written things in. See, look there, I'm doing it now. I sort of thought, oh yeah, I can put some of that into the other Maggie. I think that's kind of what he's up. But yeah, I just had no idea where she was going to go, and it's a fantastic arc that I get to play, and I've never really got to do that before, which is just lovely to see. And yeah, now I'm going, okay, yeah, can't say that.
Feel free to say as much as you wish. So Good Omens, as everyone knows, stars Michael Sheen and David Tennant, two fantastic actors. So what were they like to work with on set, and how did their performance help you inform your own performance of Maggie?
Yeah, well, obviously being in season 1, I'd been around them a little bit, but I didn't have any scenes with them. So I wasn't quite ready, I don't think. Obviously, we'd had time in the green room, and we're all in costume and whatever. But that first moment when the on-camera meeting of the characters, just, it was so cool. It felt really, really special. And yeah, obviously they're such kind of beloved characters, and they portray them so brilliantly. So just to be in the inner sanctum and get to actually speak to them was really amazing. And it's just, yeah, I sort of miss being in the Good Omens world. It's such a lovely place to be. And also the sets that they built for this season were extraordinary. So, all of us just getting to wander through Soho, but it's not Soho. We're in Bathgate, in this town between Glasgow and Edinburgh in Scotland. But they've built streets and streets and streets. And then the costumes are amazing by Kate Karen this season. And yeah, just it was just so live and visceral. Yeah, it was a fantastic experience.
Well, the cool thing too, I mean, Good Omens, it was a huge success. Everyone talks about it. So, how is this? Are you prepared for the amount of success and the amount of fame you're getting by being season 2?
No, I mean, I think it just feels it feels really exciting, but also it isn't out yet. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen, what's going to come from it. I do know that the fans who exist at the moment love it with their whole hearts and souls. So I feel that they will kind of appreciate the gift of season 2.
Mm.
And I hope that people love it, and I hope it leads to lots of other more joyous things, of course. But yeah, I can't really quantify it at the moment, because it just feels hypothetical. And I guess it's that thing of, at the moment, it's sort of still for us, the team who made it, but the second it drops, it's for everybody else. And yeah, I think it's just going to be really lovely to see how it's received. But no, I guess my short answer is not prepared at all. Don't know.
and I do wonder once again, because your character of Maggie is not from the books, and that also an extra level of pressure because it was done for you, it's made for you, and once again, slightly outside book continuity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, again, look, Neil Gaiman knows what he's doing, right? He knows. So you just I just put my whole trust in him. And it does, I mean, even from, at this point of us speaking, there's some artwork that's out there. There's a trailer, but he's trying not to give too much away about certain characters, including possibly me. So, even just the tiny bits that are out there at the moment, it seems to have had a lovely, a lovely response. And yeah, as I say, I just think Neil knows what he's doing, and I feel quite a lot of this is for the people who love it. Quite a lot of season 2 is made with people in mind who will take it to their hearts and souls also.
So obviously you're welcome to give as many spoilers as you wish.
Okay,
so what can our listeners look forward to with Maggie, and is there which aspect of Maggie are you most excited for viewers to find out about?
Okay, what can I say without getting in trouble? Right. She's quite anxious in herself about lots of things. But what I love about her is that she also has a real purity of emotion, and she's very just 100% in her feelings, and I think that's quite enviable, actually. I think that's a delightful trait to have. But the journey that she gets to go on, I think she finds some I'm really working. She finds some strength in an unexpected way. And yeah, I'm not going to say any more because I will definitely get in trouble.
Okay, let's see if I can get you into at least a little bit of trouble by asking you this question.
Okay.
Okay, Maggie, because once again, the world of Good Omens has angels, demons, humans, stuff like that. Is Maggie angel, demon, human, or other?
Human.
Human. All right, fantastic.
Yeah, that I can say. I'm pretty sure I can say
that. So when can our listeners find Good Omens season 2?
Yeah, so that will be dropping on July the 28th on Amazon Prime. And I believe it's going to be all 6 episodes, I think. So you can just get ready to binge.
Very cool.
Yeah, and enjoy the world of other, as you say. It's a beautiful holding place for everybody's oddities and the questions of what is good and what is bad and who are we to ask anyone, and let's all just be kind.
That sounds absolutely awesome. Miss Service, it was an absolute pleasure to talk with you. You've been awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much. You too. Take care.